Hey guys, so today you are starting the chapter on factoring polynomials. Factoring is the idea of being able to rewrite a polynomial in terms of multiplication. So it's almost like going backwards from what we did last chapter. Last chapter, we did problems that were like this, where we were given something to multiply out, like this binomial and this trinomial. And then we were asked to multiply that and simplify. And when we were done, we got something like an answer, and this is not the answer for this, but like 6x cubed plus 5x squared minus 6x plus 3. And so this was our answer last chapter. Well, this chapter, we're starting off with something like this, and we're trying to go backwards to figure out what did I actually multiply together to get that. So there's a lot of different factoring techniques depending on what kind of a polynomial you have. We're going to focus on just one technique today called greatest common factor factoring. Okay, so greatest common factor, we can abbreviate this or maybe use an acronym, and it is the GCF. And you may have learned this already in previous classes. The greatest common factor means the biggest common, so between 2 or 3 terms, something that's in common. And factor means a number, a variable, or the product of a number and variables that can be divided out of each term without leaving a remainder. So factor is a value that can be divided without leaving a remainder. For example, the factors of 12, the number 12, are 1. You can always divide something by 1 and get a whole number. It'll just be whatever that number was. The number 2 can be divided into 12 and leave no remainder. 12 divided by 2 is 6. It is a whole number. The number 3 can also be divided. 12 divided by 3 is a whole number 4. The number 4 can be divided. 12 divided by 4 is a whole number 3. The number 5 doesn't work. The number 6 will. 6, when you divide 12 by it, 12 divided by 6 is 2. 7 does not work. 12 divided by 7 gives you a whole number or a decimal. 8, same thing. 9, same thing. The next one that we get is actually itself 12. 12 divided by 12 will actually give me the number 1. So these are all considered factors of the number 12. Okay. When I put two things together, two numbers together, I can find their greatest common factor, the biggest factor between the two numbers that are common. So if I chose the number 30, let's just say 30, and I wanted to say, what is the biggest number that could divide both 12 and 30? I would have to now list all the factors of 30. So the factors of 30, things that will divide 30 without leaving a remainder. Hopefully you know these. 1 can divide it evenly. 3, 5, 6. Whoops, I missed 2. 15 and itself 30. And when I look in the list up here for the 12, and I look in the list for the 30, the biggest number that they both have is the number 6. They're in both those lists. So I would consider the GCF between 12 and 30 to be 6. Okay? Sometimes this can be hard because not all of us are as good at those multiplication tables. So what I do, I'm going to have to go to my calculator here. What I like